that you may find interesting simply because just open it and get tips. I found many tips in the past that have helped me throughout my real estate career. Fortunately, I've been doing this for 19 years, but in the long run, I just pick up little, things here from veteran agents. I just pick up things here from, new agents that are 18, 19 years old. So I'm learning every day, and I'm proud to be part of Lifestyle International Realty because it is a learning environment, whether you're a veteran agent or a new agent. So anyways, one of my favorite articles that I've read throughout the years. By the way, this magazine that I held up right now, let me see. This was a July 2022 issue. I'm not a hoarder or anything, but I did manage to save this one because this was one of my favorites. And this is one of the articles. It's 22 ways to get listings. Okay, so let's just get started right away. Guys, if you have any questions, just feel free to, get off the mic and ask me, and I'll definitely be able to see how I can answer them. Okay. Take notes, really, and if you want to get a copy of this, which I certainly recommend, come to the office and you can make copies from my magazine if you don't have it saved. Okay, so let's start real quick on 22 tips for increasing your listing pipeline. Number one, it says target move-up buyers. It says if you want to build the listing side of your business, you may want to start with your buyers. Many buyers have a home to sell, so I tell them that if they have to sell, it's easier to them to do it with me. Basically, it's just moving up your your sellers to become buyers. So most of the time, you're going to have a situation where they need to leave. And I just literally had a listing right now in Hialeah where we went as a listing presentation, but the lady wasn't aware that she could have sold her house, had a post occupancy, and stayed there until the closing, after the closing, to buy her next home. But she wasn't, I guess, guided properly by what she had as a buyer's agent. So again, moving up buyers to be sellers is one of the big ideas to, have in your, I guess, scheme of things. Number two, connect with builders. Builders can be a referral source because their buyers often have a home to sell. Keller Williams, an agent with Keller Williams in Gainesville, says he's developed relationships with many builders who send potential listings his way. I hold this also because I did hear back from an agent that one of my first times that I did this as a training in Miami Lakes, she did tell me that she went to a developer without even having a client. They made a relationship. He sent her literally a potential seller, and she ended up getting the listing, and she ended up selling the property. And simply because just she heard this information, she never thought of it, as some kind of a useful kind of idea, So number three, hold a nosy neighbors open house. Since neighbors often come by anyways, you may as well incentivize them to an open house. It's kind of game quirky, but you can designate the first hour of an open house for nosy neighbors to show them your marketing skills and what they might be able to get for their house. Says Nick Baldwin, co-founder of the Lab Code Agents in Michigan. Keep them in the loop with the market stats and updates on when the house is pending and when it sells. Very simple. If you have a listing, or even if you don't have a listing, you can always prospect the area and let them know a particular property in their neighborhood is for sale. There may be many offers, and often buyers are looking in this community for a reason. So make sure that you stay in touch with any property that's being listed and circle prospect that area as well. Okay. I'm sorry. Number four, instead of trying to get listings all over the region, consider the benefits of drilling deeply into one neighborhood, says Michael Martinez, a real estate agent with One Sotheby's International in Coral Gables. When I look at an appraisal report for the neighborhood where I live and where I've sold or know well every comp on the report, everyone in the neighborhood calls me when they're ready to sell. You have to be very consistent with your farm area. Make sure that you're farming your area at least once a month, if not more. But if you're literally in that area, if you farm an area and that, it should be developed as a niche for you. If you start choosing 5 or 6 areas and you're not really being consistent with any of them, then, you're not going to be a really potential, listing agent. Okay. All right, let's go on to 6. Number 6 is dig into public records to find people who may need to sell their homes. Wilburn recently partnered with someone who pursues tax records, code violation lists, and utility cutoff notices. We can offer to help them resolve their issues and potentially sell the home if that's needed, says Wilburn. There's a few guys or few people here in the agency that do go after or make calls to people who have that kind of tax liens, violations, and so forth. And I have heard of people even getting them and sold as off market. So if you ever need a list of people, I know here in the office, Rob Serrano does it. And I'm sure throughout all the other branches, we do have many other individuals kind of doing this. But, definitely, it's one of the ways to, find distressed properties through the county records, okay? Number 7 is work open houses. You can find listings by actively marketing an open house, knocking on doors, and asking if they know anyone who's thinking of selling in the next 6 months or a year, says Wilburn, who's gotten 3 listings that way. It can be better said. You just got to work the open houses, even if it's not your open house. Partner up with somebody who has a listing in the area and see if they're willing to work with you or you work with them on potential extra listings in the area. Okay. Number 8, keep your friends close. Siftar says, in touch via phone, text, and emails with a wide circle of friends and acquaintances about life rather than real estate. I see a lot of posts on social media, and then I privately contact them to see how they're doing, if there's anything I can do to help, says Siftar. I let them bring up real estate if they want to, rather than feel like I'm trying to sell them something. This is very important. Even George, when I first started with lifestyle like 4 years ago, and it just happens to be a niche for me right now, that whenever people are celebrating a birthday on Facebook, I always, give them a happy birthday wish. When somebody shares some kind of great news about a kid graduation and whatever it is, a job promotion, I definitely go and congratulate them on a private message. And, basically it's very true. And I've gotten business that way. Believe me, and if it's worked for me, it's definitely going to work for anybody else. So don't ever, underestimate the power of just literally sending private messages through social media or a text or anything like that. I'm going to touch real quick on the broadcast list from WhatsApp. If you're not doing it right now, you're certainly doing yourself a disservice, because I guarantee you, you're gonna have at least 5 people in your phone contacts that will need some kind of real estate services. But if you don't do it on a consistent basis, it's not going to work for you. Again, I'm only telling you because it's worked for me, and if it's working for me, then it should work for everybody else. Number 9. Keep organic ties through your interest. Martinez, a boater, is known for his knowledge of issues important to boaters, such as the size of boat you can keep at different locations, the distance to the ocean, and the height of nearby bridges. People in the boating community send referrals his way because they know he understands this niche. Obviously, if you are in a certain community that has boat docks, maybe learn about the fixed bridges, learn about that community, and you will become a more sought after realtor than just anybody else. Because once you know about, let's say, just for example, the boating industry, you're going to get a little bit more traction than you will with somebody else. You have something to talk about. I've been very fortunate to sell a lot in the Redlands and Homestead, where there's, ample land. So I sold a 1.25 acre farm, and I asked the guy, do you have agriculture exemption? He goes, you know about that? And I go, yeah, because I had sold a 5 acre farm before. So he knew that I was knowledgeable in the area of agricultural exemption. So I ended up getting that listing. But had I not kind of like, dug into or, given them that kind of bit, I don't know if I would have gotten that listing. And that listing has led to another listing, which I already closed, and to the neighbor. I heard somebody swear.
What is an agricultural exception?
Well, I'm going to have you real quick. It basically means that the agriculture exemption means that I think if you have an acre or more of land, then you can pay less taxes on the property if you grow anything, any kind of I guess for food. But you have to have that minimum acreage, But again, not everybody goes in and knowing those things. But your taxes, your property taxes are substantially reduced if you do have that agricultural exemption. Okay, so make
The,
sure that
the, I got a question real quick for the agriculture exemption. If you grow fruits for the community or you grow fruits for yourself?
no, it could be both. So you have to find out in the down in the Redlands, there's a department. I think there, I guess you can go and find out exactly what it is. But look, I had a guy that sold plants, and he basically, just by him selling plants, having a minimum number of plants, they weren't even fruit plants, he was able to have that agricultural exemption, you know? So it just depends. You have to find out with the agricultural department down in the Redlands, which they do have a department specifically in the area, which will give you either, you know, the exemption or not, you know? Do you see the same dynamic when you have a horse? Yeah, they do have, actually, if it's funny you mention that, I don't want to stay on this topic too long, but the rule is also if you have a cow or horses, I don't know about the horses, but I know about the cow, that if you have one cow for every acre, you don't have basically pay practically any property taxes. We'll definitely find out about that, but I don't know who wants to keep a cow in their house or not. So yeah. Just find the idea or the point behind this is that you have to know your niche, whether it's a boating community, a golf community, a farming community, whatever it is, just make sure that you find a niche or, you know, that you can become a better expert on, okay? Let me see what else we got here. I'm sorry, number 10, replace calls. Since people answer their phones, Gary Creeth, a founder of the paperless agent in Austin, Texas, recommends sending a text message or a direct message on Facebook to say hello. You can just tell them you're thinking of them and would love to hear how they're doing once they have a chance. Very simple, constant communication. We all try to do it, and some of us try to do it more than others. I guarantee you that the ones that are consistently keeping in contact with their sphere of influence are the ones getting business. But if you're not doing it, whether it's through social media, phone call or text, it's definitely going to be, you know, a little challenge for you. Again, most of our business is retrieved or won through the sphere of influence. What is that sphere of influence? Friends, family, your circle of friends. Just try to stay on top of them as much as you can. I can honestly tell you, and I've been very blessed, but you know, maybe 70% of my business is really won through WhatsApp broadcast list and Instagram. You know, the other ones is, and also referral from those people. But I've gotten business from a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in 20 years, but he's literally given me 2 people already, you know? So again, if you're not on social media communicating, it's not about just you posting, it's about you sending messages to your contacts. Just make sure you stay active with everybody who's on your contact list, and you know, try to send them messages. Just, it doesn't even have to be about real estate, you know? I mean, I literally, and from this little you know, message here, I mean the number 10 here, I literally sent a message one time on my WhatsApp broadcast list, and I said, hey, my friend, hope you're doing okay, because you know, it couldn't be gender, it had to be gender neutral. Hey, my friend, hope you're doing okay. This one lady, she actually sent me a message back, and she said, hey, in Spanish, she goes, te llamé con el pensamiento. I called you with my mind. Or you call, you know, you send me a message because I was kind of like, you know, calling you. But I sent it to 255 other people. But I ended up getting a listing from her because I sent her that little WhatsApp message. Okay. So again, keep in touch. And again, replace calls with direct message. Number 11, sometimes it's a send card for random reasons. Everyone sends cards.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I think something might be covering the mic. Can you repeat number 11, please?
Number 11. Number 11. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now I can, yeah.
Perfect. So it says send cards for random reasons. Everyone sends anniversary and birthday cards. That's Baldwin, but you can stand out if you send a card for some small milestone you see on social media, the kid's first touchdown. Okay. So
I think maybe when you're looking away, maybe that's what's happening. Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. It says use social media to learn more about people and make a deeper connection. You have to invest in your people. So if you feel you have that kind of time, you know, send postcards. You know, have sent postcards in the past to people who have completed their 1 year or 2 year or 5 year anniversary from the time we closed on a property. So I think that's always very, very good to, you know, make sure you acknowledge those dates. And on top of this, I didn't send a postcard, but I did acknowledge, like, in July, I did a closing, and it was about a young couple. I told them to rent, I mean, not to rent, and they bought a house within 6 months. They sent me a picture of them closing on the property, and I reposted it, and I mentioned them. I ended up getting another client from that particular post. So again, it's just recognizing and, you know, kind of like whether it's on, you know, your social media or, again, sending postcards in this particular case, okay? Number 12, prospect expired listings. You may face competition or simply not find many recent expired listings, but listings that expired years ago could be low-hanging fruit, says Baldwin. Those homeowners have gotten over getting lots of calls from agents and may be open to selling, says Baldwin. You can come to them from a place of education and offer to send them some market information. Baldwin says there are a variety of services such as Espresso Agent and Land Voice that provide older expired listings. You can go on the MLS and Matrix and find the expired listings, you know? I mean, it's not really hard to do. And then you can go through other search engines to find, I guess, the particular people's information, whether it's the phone number or, you know, the email. More importantly, the address. Make sure that they live there. And if that's the case, and if you do have the time, you can always, you know, stop by and knock on the door and try to see if you can leave something of value for them, okay? If it's, I guess, an expired listing from many years ago, okay? Number 13, it says connect with lenders and lawyers. Wilburn says he's asked a probate attorney to refer him an agent if any heirs want to sell a house that they recently inherited. I also asked lenders who are underwriting pre-approvals to refer me buyers if they have a house to sell, Wilburn says, okay? So it's pretty self-explanatory. You know, work with a lot of agents, immigration attorneys, like it says here, probate attorneys. I hate to be as morbid as doing like this, but sometimes even getting some kind of person from, you know, cemetery. I mean, that's cemeteries. You can know who's, you know, passed and see if they are a property owner and what the, I guess, the heirs are going to do with the property. Okay, because you never know. Okay. Number 14, it says target your audience. Use omnipresent marketing techniques to engage your customers where they are, says Creeth. That can mean through videos or social media posts. Martinez says he uses print methods such as postcards for older people and digital communication with younger clients. You got to find, you're going to have a wide range of people, whether it's, you know, the older generation, the newer generation. Just have to be, I guess, diverse. I literally, you know, closed on a couple's property a couple of months ago, and, you know, they literally had to sign. There wasn't no email. I had to go there and they had to physically sign. I had to explain to them everything. And it was more than a pleasure for me. But, you know, it was the kind of thing that I had to be present instead of, you know, going over a contract, a listing agreement over the phone. Okay. So make sure you know your audience and obviously, you know, cater to them. Okay. Number 15, stay relevant. Consistent communication with your sphere of influence should always include relevant quality real estate information, not recipe cards and sports calendars, says Creeth. This is very important. The only reason that we are successful is to stay relevant with our sphere of influence or with our past clients, whatever we want to call it. If we're not staying relevant, then you're going to cry because somebody else is going to take your food, and you can't blame them. You got to blame yourself. Why? Because you didn't make it you didn't make it a big effort. You didn't make a big effort to let them know that you're the realtor of choice and they have no option but to choose you. Okay. And this is me. I'm telling you, you guys can check me out. I'm literally posting every day, maybe 2-3 times a day on my WhatsApp broadcast list. I'm very consistent with that, at least once a month, if not more. But again, if somebody is going to choose another realtor, it's because I can probably blame myself simply because, you know, I just don't think I'm doing the right thing. But I would tell you 99% of the time, they're choosing me. I just got a listing literally yesterday. And there was a young lady that, you know, I met through one of my brother's parties. And she's a nurse. But she literally sent me a message through, because she follows me on Instagram. but she knows I'm active in real estate. When I met with her yesterday, she goes, yeah, you're very active in real estate. I go, yeah, but I go, how did you ever think about me? She goes, no, I just thought about you because, you know, I always see, you know, you posting on Instagram. So again, if you're not remaining consistent with your message to your followers, or for that matter, if you're not sending messages through the WhatsApp broadcast list, you're doing yourself a disservice, okay? Number 16, optimize your search results. Wilburn says use a variety of phrases and techniques, so he's at top of the list. During a Google search for a prospective seller, such as using the keywords like sell my house in Gainesville. That's a paid service, I'm assuming. I don't do that much, so I can't literally elaborate on that too much. But, you know, obviously, you know, whatever you can do to optimize yourself in Google would be a great thing to do, okay? Let me see what else. Number 17, provide concierge level service. Siftar says she's known for spending her own money to renovate and stage her listings. So she often receives referrals to sellers who need a little help prepping the home for the market. Provide concierge service. Providing concierge service is really what I like to do. Literally, look, you guys can do whatever you want. I do things my way. One of my biggest sales pitches to my listings is that I tell my clients, hey, listen, I'm going to give you the white glove service. I don't care if you live here. I don't care if the house is vacant. I'm never asking you to show the property. The house is vacant. I'm making every single showing for you. I want everybody to come in that comes in to let them know how old the roof is, the AC, and all these other questions. I want to make sure that I pitch to the buyers instead of, you know, the other way around, the people asking me or asking the sellers. It's my job, or it's our job as realtors to represent our sellers and our buyers to the best possible way. I've never sent any of my buyers without me. That's why I work. If I can't do it, then I always choose a partner that's going to be willing to do it with me 50-50. Okay, so make sure that the level of service that you provide is really, really above everybody else. Okay. Number 18, show off your knowledge on social media. Nunez is active in a variety of Facebook groups where she comments and answers questions when most people post about real estate. It drives people to my Instagram page where I post about my daily life. Then I develop a familiarity with me where I post about my daily life. Then people develop a familiarity with me before we've even met, says Nunez. That's just, you know, post about anything, whether it's, you know, and this is something that I do as well. You have to post in social media, and it's easy. It's free advertising. Post anything about, you know, one time I posted a thing about a post occupancy, and I had some traction with a seller, which then eventually I was able to get that listing. But just me posting about a post occupancy and the definition, and, you know, because believe me, we take these terms for granted, but, you know, we're the experts, and none of us are literally going to be as I mean, the clients aren't going to be as well versed as we are. But again, the idea is to show off your knowledge not only on social media. If you go to a listing presentation, show it off even more, because that's going to be more, I guess, effective. Number 19, take a long approach to FSBOs. While today's FSBO may sell their homes quickly and be adverse to real estate agents, Baldwin suggests offering to help for free by hosting an open house or providing them with seller disclosure forms or marketing materials. Even if they don't decide to list with you, they may recommend you to a friend, says Baldwin. This is absolutely true. I helped a lady rent her property one day. I asked her to send me all the potential people that came around, and, you know, just at least to give them my business card or to have a signing sheet, and I would call them. She didn't do any of those, but she did think about me when she was going to buy a beachfront condo. Unfortunately, I was able to get her the beachfront condo literally like 6 months later. Okay. Number 20, remember, every house is for sale. Sarah Reynolds of the Reynolds team trains her team members to view every house as a possible house for sale, not just the listed ones in the MLS. If a buyer wants a specific neighborhood or even a specific house, look up the owner and talk to them. They may decide to sell when they realize how much equity they have or that they have an interested party. I can't say I've done this before, but it is a great tactic and a great approach to take. You know, there's not enough inventory. South Florida especially, we don't have inventory. I don't know how it is across the country, but in South Florida, there's very low inventory. It doesn't take much to, if you really have a potential buyer, to go and knock on people's houses. Hey, I'm not trying to sell. I'm not trying to list your property. I do have a potential buyer that may be interested in your house. Would you be open to selling your house? And then maybe it can lead to a listing if you can't get your buyer to particularly like that house. Okay. Number 21, and I'm going pretty fast. This is the record time for me because we normally have go back and forth. And number 21, rely on professionals for production. Martin says his seller clients appreciate that he uses professionals for his videos and photos to showcase listings, which makes them easier to share with a global audience. Even property video tells a story. When the homeowners see that, they want something similar for their home, says Martin. Absolutely, 150%. If you have a listing, guys, spend the money. And that way your sellers are going to know that you're investing in them as well. And that's one of the things that I tell them from the beginning. I even state the fact that, hey, I'm having to spend $400 to $500 on professional video, drone, and photos. So, I'm investing in you so we can make this happen for you. But again, it's not just about, I'm going to put your house in the MLS and come in with an iPhone, because that's not really going to give you a building bridge. Remember, it's not just this one house. You're building the bridge for future clientele. If you do this, if you hire professionals, I guarantee you, it's going to tell a story much better than what you would if you didn't have a professional beside you. And just as a point, I ended up getting a listing because it was a Zillow for sale by owner, a young guy by the name of Diego. He came and, he asked me to call this FSBO. And I did tell the seller, hey, listen, you only have 3 pictures on the internet. I mean, they're okay, but you live in a great community. We want to expose it to the fullest. Long story short, we ended up getting his listing. First, we sold his townhouse, and he ended up buying an $860,000 house in Miami Springs. So again, it was because I pointed out to him that we do invest in videos, drone, and photography, and it's going to tell a story. Without that, it's going to be much more difficult for you to build your pipelines, because if they're going to see you as the guy that comes in and takes video or pictures on an iPhone, no matter how good you think you are, they're not going to really appreciate it as opposed to somebody coming in, with a tripod or a camera or a drone and their equipment. So make sure that you do definitely invest when it comes time for you getting a listing. Okay. Number 22, check out rental properties. While it could be time consuming, Baldwin says some agents have success finding rental properties that were previously listed for sale. You don't want to waste time contacting owners who want to keep their income properties, but some people are accidental landlords and may be open to selling now, says Baldwin. The key is to keep it. The key is to keep at it. Work your sphere, call, text, and email every day and build relationships. Amen. So look, the number 22, I did get a guy. He was not breaking even on his rental. He had just bought the property previous 2 years. But the problem was he came in with a very low down payment. He had an FHA financing. What we did was I told him, look, you can sell this property and possibly, invest in something else. And, whether it's a multifamily, and see what the numbers line up with. But if you're going to rent right now, you're going to be below, what it is to make any money, not even break even. So we ended up selling his house instead of trying to rent his house, again. So again, and, oh, by the way, rental properties. I had another guy that it was in my neighborhood, and Diego, again, God bless him. I did call him, and he ended up evicting the previous tenants. He was thinking about renting again. And I told him, look, he wanted to buy a house in the Florida Keys. And I said, why don't you sell this one to buy a house in the Keys with a 1031 exchange? He didn't even know about that, but I planted that seed in his mind. And once we did that, and he spoke to his accountant, he goes, yeah, you can do that. So he now has a house in the Keys, and he's now free of tenants that won't pay his bills. Guys, I know it's 9 o'clock. I appreciate you guys. Any questions real quick before we kind of have to sign off, because I'm always in a rush here.
Yes, I got a question. When you say you give, hi, how you doing? When you say you give your clients white glove service, can you kind of elaborate however you say that word,
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Like, what do you actually do? Because I would like to say, hey, I want to give you white glove service, but what if the seller say, okay, well, what do you mean by that? What are the steps are you going to actually do to give me white glove service? How would you explain exactly
Right.
step by step? What would you do?
Perfect, and thank you for your question. What I normally do is when I go to a listing presentation, I definitely let them know that I'm in charge. I definitely let them know that I'm the one with the knowledge, and I let them know how this is gonna play out because it's gonna be to their advantage. Number one, I always tell them, I'm not gonna ask you to show the house at any time. If I'm not available, then my partner's gonna be available. You know, you already know, Chelsea, that I work with people, and then, 9 times out of 10, I co-list simply because I wanna make sure that my clients know that I'm gonna give them everything that there is. So I tell them, if I can't answer the phone, my partner's gonna answer the phone. If I can't show the property, my partner's gonna show the property. That's number one. Number two, I'm very frank with them, and I tell them, look, in order for you to get the most out of your property, we're gonna have to do some tidying up in the house. I am not afraid to tell them the truth, whether the house needs to be cleaned a little bit, rearranged. I even had a house in the Redlands where I told the client, look, we need to cut the palm trees. They look a little dead. We just need to, I guess, spruce them up. She took my advice, and we literally had a few offers on that property, which was over $780,000. It wasn't just a condo. Another thing that I do with white glove service, and I say that at my listing presentations, I let them know, listen, I'm always going to be here for every showing. So why? Because like I said in my previous, I guess, number 20, I forgot what number it was, but you always want to be there representing, because when you go show your listing, first of all, you're making, a decent amount of money. But second of all, you know what? You're not leaving it up to chance to know what the buyer's agent knows. Because if you leave a lockbox, if you leave a Supra, then at the end of the day, that buyer is not going to be 100% informed, or as much as you want to inform them. I let them know about the age of the roof, the age of the AC, any upgrades that the house has in the past 5 years. I let them know what the restrictions there are with the HOA, if there are any. But again, I let them know as much as possible, so then I could be the expert in front of everybody to let them know that, this is the way it's going to be to increase your chances to sell your property. Good. Very nice.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else? Yeah, no, my pleasure. And again, if anybody wants to come get this, nice article, it's always here in the office at Lifestyle Miami Lakes. I know it's maybe a long way for some of you guys, but that's what we
Can
have.
you send it through email, please?
You can come get it. I know you. That's a
No,
long.
you can send it to me through my email, please.
No, that's a lot. You're gonna have to come get it. Sometimes you got to work for it. I want to make you work for it.
Okay,
So,
I'll go and get more folders then. You'll see me there. Thank you.
my pleasure. Anybody else? Anybody? One more time. Going once, going twice. All right, guys, listen, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If anybody ever wants to come over here to Miami Lakes, please. Yes, I will. You know what? I'm gonna give it somehow in the Jersey chat. Those are the only people I'm gonna make the exception for, the Jersey people, and maybe the Orlando people. But if you're here in the Tri-County area, just come on by and you can make copies while you're here. But again, thank you very much, guys. Good luck. Again, we're here to help. Everybody's here. Go to your branch managers. I can't stress the importance of going to the office just to learn, just to collaborate, or maybe even to help somebody else. Port St. Lucie people too. I got to figure it out. But again, if you're ever stuck in a position of needing help, please go to the office, because it will be something that you can benefit from. So with that said, I appreciate it. Have a great day. And let me know if you have any, please let me know if you have any success stories. So far, I've only heard 2 people that have applied any of this. So if you can definitely let me know that it worked for any of you guys, I would definitely appreciate it. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.